All right, enough Mbappe. Let's talk Nations League because Spain and Italy kicking off in one semifinal in a couple hours as we record this on a Thursday morning. Last night, Holland against Croatia. And Don, you know this because we were in touch before, and you were like, "Oh, the Nations League." Yeah, exactly.
I'm footballed out. Can't be bothered.
Instead, we saw a tremendous game. Croatia winning 4-2 in extra time. Probably could have been 5-2 with a goal disallowed at the end. Holland with a last-ditch equalizer to take it into extra time. And the atmosphere, the fans,
Amazing.
15,000 Croatia fans there, most of them decked out with a little water polo caps and their check shirts. Holland, brilliant orange. And I felt for the home fans because, you know, the Dutch like a summer party, but they were really, really poor.
Yeah.
I mean, Croatia, Luka Modric
ran the show.
Nobody's told him how old he is. Nobody's told him that, hey, you're supposed to be on your way to Saudi.
Has he left Real Madrid yet or not?
June 30th, his contract expires. So,
what a player. I mean, my perception when I watch Croatia, doesn't matter what tournament they're in, Nations League, Euros, World Cup, as soon as you get to play them in extra time, it feels like you might as well just give up because they're unbelievably fit. Brozovic doesn't give the ball away. Kovacic doesn't give the ball away. Modric seems to get better as his age at 37, playing in these competitions in extra time, seems to get better, fitter, stronger, and is undoubtedly class. And you watch them, you think, they are some team. They are so, and that was some game, by the way. I did moan before the game going, I'm football that Gab, can't be bothered. And then I watched the game, and it was phenomenal.
Croatia kind of understated in the first half. Holland took the lead, I thought, deservedly so. But then, after the break, in the second half, it was all Croatia. They went 2-1 up. And then you had that weird equalizer in the 96th minute. But tell me, how hard was it? Because it was a side foot from Noah Lang.
Some skill.
But that was some serious skill because it's so easy to overhit that or underhit that.
Yeah, the best example was 5 minutes earlier when Gakpo had the chance and he panicked, Gakpo, and he went for a sort of really rushed quick finish and he slashed at it and he pulled it wide left. That one was more of a cultured finish. In the last dying seconds of the game, where all those bodies in front of you, your Rolodex of finishes are, right, go for power. Let me hit the target. It was a beautiful finish, just a little side foot instep finish just under the crossbar. Then you think 2-2 extra time. There's going to be some game here.
Now, at the end of the game, all right, partly, okay, Jules isn't here, so we're not going to go and crucify poor
The Dutch
Ronald, Dutch guy. There you go. However, you've got 6 substitutions, right? Because the game's on to extra time. How he managed to make he ended up in such a weird situation with his substitutions that Holland finished the game with a back three made of Terrell Malacia, who I know some fullbacks can play center back. Not him, not ever. That penalty he gave away, he was all over the place. And then the other two were Frankie de Jong and I think Martin de Roon, both of whom are midfielders, not defenders. And who's playing at center forward?
Oh, Van Dijk.
Virgil van Dijk.
And Weghorst.
But Weghorst at least theoretically plays center forward for a living.
Yeah. He went all 1980s on us, didn't he? The Dutch guy. 2 big fellas up front. But he launch it.
But
couple of footballers at the back.
He wasn't even launching it to the level. I thought if you're going to do that, then properly launch it. Instead, they tried to play through the Croatian midfield, I thought, a lot in the extra time, which, like, how do you expect Van Dijk to ever get the ball?
But that's where with Koeman, I think he tries so many different systems in one game. I think as a player, he would leave you massively confused. And he would say, well, you need a football IQ, which I totally get from managing.
And which he had as a player.
Absolutely. But I think once you start going through so many different systems in a game, in the end, you're going, I don't know what I'm doing. We're just going to hit Van Dijk. We're just going to hit Weghorst. We'll try and do something. We'll get a knockdown. We'll try and play from there. Territorially, we might be able to get up the pitch. That's where, with Croatia, they're the opposite. I feel as though they never changed their system. They never really changed the ballers that they've got in midfield. They might go for, a player that's fading in the last 10, 15 minutes, but they never go away from their principles.
So, just to close this out, on Van Dijk, up and down this season, I thought his performance was really, really poor. Not just by his standards, but by anyone's standards. And I think he'll be the first one to be
I think he needs a rocket, me.
He needs a what?
He needs a rocket. He needs to be told. He needs to be told either from Ronald Koeman.
You don't think he realized, because on the Pekovic goal where it takes him like an hour to go and react and close him down.
Needs to be
and
told.
The first one is what?
I think he's so casual because he is so good. He's so casual in his performance, and I think probably as a character as well. He's very casual and laid back. sometimes I think those type of players need a rocket, and that either comes from Jurgen Klopp or your international manager to say, listen, you aren't a given in this team. That's where if Liverpool could buy another quality centre-half, you can start to put pressure on Van Dijk and say, you are not a given in this side. So therefore, that level of player performance then has to go up. They have to respond. I think he's in his comfort zone.
I'm a big Virgil van Dijk fan, not just the player, but the man himself. But this was not his standard at all. I know he's had his ups and downs. And for those who say, oh, but it's the Nations League, nobody cares. Well, that generally comes from people from countries that never win anything at international level, i.e. England. I can assure you he cared about this one, and I assure you those Dutch fans cared, and that Dutch team cared.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.